insane passion.
Oh, would you believe it? A virtuoso strike from Dejan Kulusevski.
Same energy.
Here's Lucas Moura. Oh, they did it! I cannot believe it!
Same love.
I want to win. I want to win the trophy, to bring success to the team, especially when you are captain and win the trophy.
Same team.
It's just who we are, mate. It's just who we are. It's who we're going to be till as long as I'm here.
Same Old Spurs.
The Same Old Spurs podcast with Majestic and Gazza.
Get behind the boys and up the Spurs.
Good evening and welcome to the Same Old Spurs podcast with Majestic Gazza. It's been a while, but we're back here live at the SOS HQ. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Birthday.
Yeah, mate, mine's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yours was the other day.
It was indeed.
We normally celebrate it together. I'm sure we got a big meal coming up.
No mills.
I know, Project 365 and full flow, mate,
We're in full flow, mate, so yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, for those who are watching us live, there's a few of us, because of course we've not been on for weeks, so thank you for being with us. Reason why we've not been on for weeks, and it's been a busy 6 weeks.
How was, let me just get straight into it. You got the jumper on. How was it? Tyson Fury, Usyk 2.
He's retired.
Unbelievable.
Happy retirement.
Again?
Happy retirement to Tyson.
Oh, you would say that.
Are
you mucking us about Tyson?
Mate, he said Dick Turpin wore a mask. He just wants to get paid.
Again?
Rightly so.
Ain't these people got enough money?
Mate, he's the hottest ticket in. Listen, imagine losing twice to Usyk and you're still the hottest ticket in town. That is where heavyweight boxing is lacking in characters, because everyone still wants to see him and AJ.
Big fight though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Few years too late for me, but still a big event.
Where's that white glove, Will? Let's show you the glove. You'll like this one.
Look, mate, I'll tell you one thing. We talk about cloth, don't we?
We do indeed.
We got to meet. Fortunate to meet AJ quite a few times of late.
Yeah.
And he is a lovely, lovely man, mate.
For those that are in the North London area, he does frequent David Lloyd's sauna and steam room.
It's a high-class establishment, that place. That's different grade.
For those that are listening to the podcast, I'm holding up a white glove that says to Madge. It's from AJ. I've also got one from Francis Ngannou.
God, that ain't a bad one, isn't it? If you're a UFC fan, Jesus.
Yeah, and then I've got the big one from Tyson Fury here.
Yeah, that ain't
like
bad.
Doing a car boot sell. We'll hand them over. What's this one?
We'll get down to Northfield Market after this. Northfield Market.
Usyk.
Two for the price of one, them.
Mate, there you go. Take them.
I'll tell you one thing, mate. They are. You need to get a nice little cabinet there, put them all away.
Mate, trust me.
Yeah, go in on
But you're coming to the next...
I've already done it, man.
Simon reckons that more chance of Ange having a plan B than Fury retiring.
Straight in, yeah.
We reckon he
Simon, happy New Year to you, mate. You're back with a vengeance already.
So yeah, welcome to everyone that's live on the YouTube. Welcome to those that are listening at home. It has been a good few weeks. I've been in Dubai. I've been in Saudi. It was Christmas. I've been ill. You were ill.
I've been in Enfield. Hey, we'll just drop them names a little bit more. Anyway. I've been in Saudi. I've been in Dubai.
You've been in David Lloyd's Enfield.
I have gone up in the world, son. So thank you very much for the bringing. Forever grateful.
Enjoying yourself down the Lloyd's.
I'll tell you what, it's a high-class establishment.
Nice,
get yourself the David Lloyd's. I've said it.
It's worth the money.
Worth every penny.
It's lovely down there.
But I am looking forward to it, Madge, joining you in February in Riyadh.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Can't wait, mate.
Great card.
Fantastic
card.
The
press? Do you watch the presser today?
Yeah, I did. I'm all over it. You know me, mate. Boxing is very, very close second sport. I'll tell you what, the way Spurs have been doing, it's probably got the number one of late. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Bivol Bebatiev, that was a great fight last
Elite
time.
Fight.
So close.
Could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You come off of it and you go, Bivol got robbed there. But if you go back and watch it again, it was closer than probably what people thought. But Turbiev, in some people's eyes, was the right result. But I thought Bivol done enough to just nudge it, probably for a round or two. But can't wait for the rematch match.
Absolutely, and it's going to be great to have you with me over in Saudi.
Just quickly before we leave the boxing chat alone, did you think Fury done enough? Tough one, isn't it?
Over the two fights, I'm going to say this. Over the two fights, I think you could possibly say it was a draw. 2 fights. When he's coming back in to win the belts back, I need him to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit more in the front. Yeah, you've got to go and do a bit more. And he boxed very well. He boxed well. He boxed clever. But you know what? It's in those ones like you're not sort of retaining the belts. You're going to get them. Go and grab them with both hands. But I don't know, mate. AJ Fury's the fight everyone still wants to see. So
that's it.
Listen, yes, boys, back. Missed you, boys. Got time to come back after 2 big wins with Gooners pending. This is it. So we are back. the Same Old Spurs podcast. Go give me those numbers. Since we've last done a podcast, we've had games in the Europa League, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League. What's the numbers?
Well, let's be honest. It's not been good.
No.
Let's get straight to it. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Since we played Manchester City, we have missed 13 games on this podcast. They come quick and fast, don't they? 3 games a week now.
Yeah, because that's only about 6 weeks.
That's right, yeah. Not even that, mate. Not even, it's less than that. So 13 games, 4 wins, 4 draws, 5 defeats, match. It's not been good enough. It's not been good enough. And one of them wins was against Tamworth yesterday.
Well, I'm going to put a little perspective on that. You know, like with me, it is, what day is it now? The 13th, because it's the day before you and my son's birthday. And we're in the next round of the FA Cup.
Yep.
We go to Anfield with a 1-0 lead in the Carabao Cup semi-final. We're still in the Europa League. Lots of injuries have happened. Now,
do you know what, Madge? What I will say is it's very, very difficult at the moment to get the right mix between being positive, real, so let's get real about things, and not being too negative. It's a hard balance to try and come and find at the minute with our football club because,
100.
you know what I mean, you've got to try and remain positive, as you said. And today's podcast is called what? To Dare is to Do.
To Dare is to Do. And that
You're
is
one game away from reaching Wembley, mate.
This is it. And the thing
and that is what it's all about in football. That is the pinnacle.
I think we got to look at things now. And I'm actually, you sound like Big Ants, mate. You all right?
Struggling with coffee, so I do apologise.
I'll be telling you this, yeah? We get to now sum up those last X amount of games, 13 games, as a whole, right? First and foremost, you know me, I've tried to backhand you all the way.
Yeah.
And say, I want him out, Talk sport, I got to a point of I had enough. The Liverpool game at home made me think a little bit different. And I'll tell you why.
Yep.
Because I've asked this manager to change. Here we go. The gaffer's on. Big Steve.
The old man, yeah. How are we,
He
Dad?
says, happy birthday tomorrow, son. That's from Dad. Big up to Steve.
Yeah,
the reason I'm saying is, against Liverpool, right, there was a couple of bright sparks for me. The fact that is we didn't go gun-ho, and we weren't stupid against a very good Liverpool team. Now, I know your dad said it, and I think you might have said to Will in the stadium as well, it wasn't a high-class game. Like, there wasn't much going on. But we did that to Liverpool. We stifled them, mate. Do you know what he did? And the fair play, because Man United did it the weekend before, and Amorim, I give him credit for changing as well, changed again against Arsenal. Is Ange finally going, there is another way? Because any time we've been successful this season against a Man City, a Liverpool, he's not been so gun-ho. He's been a little pragmatic at times where he's needed to be. Now, first and foremost, when you talk about big Ange ball, right, you need all the components to play that. The first thing I want to come on to is the new keeper.
Yeah. Started off well, didn't he?
Started off tremendously well. Now, how old is he, Gaz?
21.
21, right? To come and make your home debut, your debut for Tottenham Hotspur,
Brilliant,
against Liverpool in the semi-final of a cup, and you're flicking the ball over people's heads and catching it.
Yeah.
And you're turning up, you're wearing your short sleeves on a very cold night. Right? I know he comes from colder climates. But what I really loved about him was when Ben Tancourt comes down, and we'll talk about his injury later on, when he went down, he's gone up to Dragerson and he's pulled him and he goes, yo, here.
Brilliant shout. I was listening to your show last night because I know where you're going with that. And there was a caller, Spurs fan, that rang up.
Ready?
Looks like a leader, doesn't he? Magic goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? And he's coming in. I saw him in that first game against Liverpool, smiling in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Taking in like the occasion. Just signed for Spurs. A massive move for him. I thought he was exceptional, mate. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. When we was in the ground, I've never seen a goalkeeper receive the ball so high up in his own half. Very, very, very confident. Comfortable off both feet. He'll ping it long if he has to, play it short where he has to. And the main thing what he's done, the goalkeeper, that we're going to see moving forward, but in that game, is, you know, the nerves that would have been in the back line there. You know, when you're receiving and passing the football. Taken away a little bit.
100%.
You're confident receiving the ball. You're confident playing back the goalkeeper the ball. And and you talked about the way that Ange likes to play, it starts from the goalkeeper, the moves. So he's going to be really, really crucial.
And also, as George has just mentioned on YouTube as well, distribution.
Fantastic.
The kid's distribution is similar to that of Toby. Remember a lot of moves that started with Spurs was a Toby with a pinpoint. He didn't just boot the ball out. He saw people or saw a run and put it into space. I was like, this is masterful.
He wants the number one spot, doesn't he? He's not come here to make the numbers up.
He hasn't. And
He's
the
not
thing
come
is,
here to make the numbers up, this guy. Look, again, it's easy to get carried away, but we spoke about it already. You've got to find some positives with football at the minute in Spurs. The goalkeeper could well be one. Yeah. I was really impressed.
For me, that's a huge positive, and it's something we can look at and go, if we look at some of the individual errors that have happened in this calendar year, they have come from the keeper, right? I mean,
It's a bundle, mate. It's been a bundle of nerves.
And, you know, it needs to be looked at, and we talk about recruitment. They identified a weak link, which was the keeper. People were literally, from Man City in the FA Cup last year to Everton away to Arsenal this season, they have pinpointed Vicario's weakness. That keys ain't getting bullied on the ball from a corner. Even yesterday,
can't see it.
Tamworth come for everything. Everything in the air, catches two hands. No punching is what I really like to see. So
it's going to be interesting to see how his shot stopping is. Because Vicario, one thing he is good at is shot stopping.
But I'll tell you
what. So he hasn't been called upon too much.
Twice in that Liverpool game late on.
Yeah.
There was one where he brings his body and he comes down low and he uses his chest. And there was that little dip to the side. So that shows me as well. Remember, Petr Cech, the best keeper in the Premier League, in my opinion, of all time.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Schmeichel close, probably. Yeah,
but Petr Cech's got the most clean sheets. He told Chelsea about this kid, right? We've got balloons coming up on the screen because people are saying happy birthday. Oh, fantastic. We've got 20 people watching us right now, which is great to have you guys back after such a long time away. But yeah, I really like that. And the thing is, a good football team has two people in every position. And that's factual. And the fact of the matter is, you're looking at, this geezer here that we always bring out. Romero, I'm bringing up, by the way, if you're listening at home. Got Romero, a little figure of Romero. Not Romero, sorry, Richarlison.
Where is he?
He's in the cup.
He's back in the squad, they reckon, for Wednesday.
Yeah. But this lad, Romero, he's injured as well. He goes in the cup. Sonny's just left with his extension.
Well, you've touched on him. I know we'll probably get on to him, Son. Where are you at with him?
Oh, yeah. No, we'll have a proper chat about Sonny. But what I'm saying is, having those players in those positions that you can trust will stop these injuries because he can rotate the team.
He's had a look at the staff, the medical staff.
Have you seen it? He said there's 3 new jobs up for...
3 jobs up for grabs. And you know what I mean? That's at a high level that these boys are operating at. And it's got to be done to a higher standard. Things are not quite right down there, mate. There's far too injuries. I think players are coming back sooner rather than later. It was a bit too soon and not quite ready. And they're pulling up in games.
So,
look,
do you know what?
Paramount for the way that Spurs play with Ange, with the amount of pressure on them players. Because I'm not in fun. You look at let's take Van der Ven for an example, Madge.
Where's he from?
The Netherlands.
He's from where?
The
Netherlands.
But he goes through a lot of work, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? The recovery, the sprinting. You know what I mean? He seems to be covering for everyone at times.
Yeah. No,
putting a lot of strain on the body, mate.
And you're absolutely right. And this is where I do take an issue with Ange in terms of the style of play and playing those same players week in, week out. Some of those injuries are down to him. Now, bringing back Romero and Van der Ven for that Chelsea game was stupid. Yeah?
Could see how he done it, though.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why, Madge, is because if you look at the results going into that game, bad.
Yeah.
He needed one.
Needed
it. So it's
the
almost
irony
like...
is we didn't get one and lost.
Agreed.
They gambled and got it wrong.
That's right.
But these are the things... Okay, I'm going to bring you my qualms with Ange, see what you think. So my problem was the lack of changing things right, in terms of game management, in-game management. Someone on here has already said, oh, yeah, the reason why we changed for City and Liverpool is because they didn't let us out. Well, whether they did or not, he's had to change and adapt. And when we've done that, we've actually got good results.
I thought Spurs applied themselves well against Liverpool. Look, Liverpool, they weren't quite at the races. You need that. You need a bit of luck in them big cup games.
100%.
Especially against a team who's sitting at the top of the league.
But again...
you've still got to do your bit.
People who ain't at the races often, the other team have done something to create that.
Yeah.
For example, we'll talk about the FA Cup in a minute. Tamworth played the best they've ever played in their lives yesterday because it was the biggest game of their lives.
Yeah.
Right? So, with the Liverpool game... We saw a bit of that change, and I was, okay, cool. This guy might be getting it now. The thing I take a problem with is Jed Spencer's come in.
Unreal.
Has been phenomenal. In my opinion, left or right back, not wing back, left or right back, he's the best one at the club.
He's the best fullback defensively
100%.
at the club.
He's the best one at the club, right?
Why has he not been playing football games much?
Because
And I'll be honest with you, it weren't just under this man stewardship.
well, the Conte one definitely was him saying to Levy, "I never bought him, and I'm not playing him." That was him.
Do you know what I love about him the most? Because I think there's a lot of soft, weak players in today's football. Here, have it with a mixer, mate. You won't win a 50-50 with him.
No. I like this from Matt.
I love that about him.
Matt says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Remember, we're in double the number of competitions as Woolwich."
Yeah. Look, we're going to get onto that, mate, because like part of being a Spurs fan and part of like enjoying being a Spurs fan. Well, look, it's difficult, but we'll always get off on the fact of if Arsenal are doing bad.
Oh, absolutely.
Like today, yeah, I'm on TalkSport. I'm listening to the fans. It's a meltdown on your show last night,
yeah,
man.
they weren't happy.
This football club are second in the table.
I know, and they're not happy at
Hey,
all.
second in the table though. Yeah, they're unbeaten in 5 in the Premier League,
And they're not happy.
and they're not happy there, and it is fantastic. And I'm looking at the AFTV. I think they like it because the numbers go through the roof.
I think they do.
They love it, don't they? The numbers go through the
So,
roof.
back
so
on
do
to
I.
what I was saying with the Ange situation. So, Jed Spence,
Yeah.
Lucas Bergvall has had to come on against Tamworth and save the day, right? With his energy and his pressing. He's pressing against Liverpool, phenomenal, scores the goal. We knew he was a good player, didn't get to see enough of him. So, Jed Spence, Lucas Bergvall, big up Archie Gray for doing a job. Bless him. You know,
You have to give him a credit. Look,
Yeah.
I've got a question mark whether he's going to be good enough for Spurs moving forward. Also, a question mark on the recruitment strategy in the summer. Was it money that well spent? Was it money that we needed to spend elsewhere? Question marks. But for a young boy coming in and playing at the heart of the defence with somebody alongside him, who I've got major question marks about as well, by the way, it's a tick because I've got massive question marks about Dragusin. For me, he's nowhere near good enough. And I'm not going to just get carried away because he might have had 1 or 2 half-decent performances. I'm going to be real. He is not good enough. If Dragusin plays centre-half for Spurs moving forward, we're not going to be where we want to be. And I know what you're going to come on to next. Is it the style of play that hinders his performances? Well, that's open to debate.
Yeah, we'll see with that one. I do think he has all the attributes to be a good centre-half. I just think any person that is running from the halfway line trying to stop things.
With Angeball, you've got a problem if you can't receive. I just think he looks awkward when he receives the ball. When he passes the ball, he's slow in the turn. That's a problem.
Don't forget, you've got to get used to the Premier League.
You have, yeah.
Like, we've seen it across the board. Look at people like Zirkzee coming in from Man United.
It's interesting, though, because
Poisoned.
when he had a run of games, as soon as Romero Van der Ven was fit straight back in, that says a lot for me. Can't wait. And as soon as Romero's fit, regardless of how Spurs are doing and he's doing, he'll be out of the team. Romero will be back in.
This is because
Levels.
they're the top boys.
Yeah,
they're the top boys.
100%.
And the thing is, you're not going to have, especially at Spurs, you're not going to have the top boy as a second choice. It's not going to happen.
Well, I think Spurs need to be like, that is an area that needs to be improved on.
Yeah, but don't forget, you've got the lad, is it the Serbian lad who's about 17, 18?
Yeah. But it's only because you got guaranteed with Romero and Van der Ven to always get injured.
Yeah, but you've got
They're
like
just them 2 players.
You got the young lad. You got Ashley Phillips still on loan, isn't it?
I can't see him playing for Spurs. I'm not funny as well. I'm not just trying. Let's be honest here. I'm looking at Dorrington today. He's gone to Aberdeen on loan now. Now, if you're not getting in at centre half when we've got a defensive crisis in that area, and Archie Gray's being used there, who's never played there in his life, that is a problem for me. Same age as well, so it's not about his age.
Yeah, I think that some of the comments.
You know
on
what I
YouTube,
mean? Is he going to play? Because Spurs are always going to be looking to go again in that position. And that's quite... And, you know, you look at 2 areas there about trying... Look, let's be real. You're looking at Austin there. Come through the academy at Spurs. We've ended up having to dip into the market on another 21-year-old. So all them coaches there have not churned out a player there. That's disappointing for me, Madge, all the resources we've got there. And that might just be another one in Dorrington. Because we're hoping that these boys can excel and get into the first team.
Yeah, but how many people make it from...
Course. Yeah, I get that, Madge. There's not a lot of people that make the grade, but we have put an infrastructure in at Tottenham to try and help us do that. You look at Arsenal; they've had a couple.
Here's one for you. You like this? So, Dragusin,
yeah,
is on $2 million a year more than Mickey Van der Ven.
Well, there you go.
So, like, he ain't been brought in to be no chump.
No, absolutely. Sure. Well, look at it. He joined us over Barcelona, wasn't it?
Yeah.
His agent was very vocal.
Yeah, he still is. He needs to sharp a little bit. But anyway, look. So with the situation of Ange, as I said, like his overusage of the players at times has led to the injury. So that's on him, and especially because of his style of play. And when we know, like people like Jed Spencer, they've got to go. Now you're looking at Archie Gray, who's been playing out of position, has been amazing. Mate, the future is him and Bergvall in midfield. That's the future.
I've been impressed with Bergvall last couple of games.
Yeah.
I think he's upped his levels. I think he had to, because he's had a little few games. I've looked at him and gone, this boy a bit of a pretty boy. Is he with it? Has he got it? But he's really, really done a bit last couple of games. I looked at Pape Sarr's performance yesterday. One of them performances, his head in the clouds, not good enough. You know what I mean? And you can't have them performances because you're not going to kick on. But you got a boy who's willing to take your place, and he's been patient. He's been waiting for it. And he plays at the Emirates on Wednesday for me, man.
Yeah, 100%.
He starts. He has to start.
100%.
That's it. He's full of confidence. And you know what? Nicking a goal.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Make it Liverpool, big goal there. You know what I mean? Bit lovely
Huge
reel
goal.
away. So, look, you got to keep doing it. So, that's a positive, Madge.
Yeah,
that is a positive.
Do you know another positive throughout this whole sort of bit of a barren time, so to speak, the last sort of 13 games, is Big Dom Solanke.
Fantastic.
You're reversing on him.
I've become a big fan, and I'll be yeah. I've got the reverse lights on. They're on, mate. So, and you know what? I've got a couple of them. The white ones.
Gazza's going backwards.
Happy to admit it.
That's what we love in this podcast.
Want to admit it. You know what I mean? It went early with him. Had a look at him. He's probably been the player I love the most this year.
Yeah.
I think I've been a lot of games, as you know, and the work rate that he puts in from the front. And do you know what I saw, and I'm seeing of late, is that little physical side to the game that you need as a focal point up the front. He bullied Kanate for that goal against Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
In the goals, and I looked at it, and I'd done a little bit on him, like 11 goals and 6 assists in all competitions for him now, Madge. You know what I mean? Just at the turn of the halfway point. If he can get 20, 25 goals this season, nicking a few assists as well, I think that's a great return.
Yeah, I
you know what I mean? We've had Richarlison up front.
Yeah.
Churning out nothing. Got no goals in one season, got 4 last year.
And nowhere near the work rate.
Do you know what I mean? So you got to give him his praise there. And you talk about players coming into new teams, you know what I mean, and new surroundings. That's a player that's come in, and he's done very, very well. Over the moon for him.
George asked a good question. He goes, will Big Dom score over 20 goals for us in the league, though? Great player, but is he a real goal scorer? Now, just to counteract that, are we still second highest goal scoring team in the league? Or is it like, we've got the league table?
I've got the league table.
Have a look at that. Let's have a look at the goals forward, because it was Liverpool, I think, or no, was it Liverpool? Yeah, Liverpool 47. We've scored 42, which is second in the league. So that suggests that, Liverpool first, Spurs second, Arsenal third. And the irony is everyone's talking about that they can't score.
Do you know what? I'll come in there if I can have my sound that question there, Madge, as well. If you got better players than Timo Werner and Brendan Johnson as your supply line wide, you will score more goals.
Yeah.
Because them two are nowhere near the grade.
And we're scoring.
Not near the grade, mate.
But we're scoring that amount of goals with these kind of people. You know what I mean? With Sonny not being at his best, with Brendan Johnson.
I'm seeing a couple of individual goals from Solanke, and that was the question that I asked at the beginning. Has he got the ability to churn out a moment for himself, deliver in the moment? I'm seeing it. Even the one at Liverpool, mate, the goal he got just before. Yeah. And I'm not being funny, this VAR. You're getting lines out, you're drawing lines, a joke.
It is ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Come on.
It really is ridiculous. But I tell you what, like, that's, as you said there, if you went and imagine if Timo Werner was Timo Werner of RP Leipzig.
I saw him yesterday, mate, and there's a couple of them boys. I'll talk another one, Pedro Porro. Yeah, where is he? Pedro. Because this boy's place for me.
He's up for grabs.
He's up for grabs, big time.
With Jed Spence on fire.
You look at it. I just wanted to talk about Pedro Porro yesterday, right? He gave the ball away 45 times yesterday against Tamworth. Right, that's a stat. In 20 games in the Premier League, he's given the ball away 349 times.
Oh.
And we're asking questions. Our teams are getting on the break and getting in behind us. That's terrible, Madge.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean? And like, don't get me wrong, there is definitely a player there. He's like some of the things he does moving forward, some of his striking ability, crossing, whatever. No doubt about it. But I saw him and a couple of others turn up at Tamworth yesterday talking about Timo Werner there. They had the snoods on. Yeah,
was cold.
Rolled up over the eyes. Yeah, I don't even think I saw him. Like the eyes
cold.
did.
Cold,
you know what I mean? That's a daunting task for you on a 4G pitch. Are you up for this? Lads from sunny Spain. You know what I mean? You got to be at it from the get go. Wasn't.
But listen,
Timo Werner, he had the gloves on. He looked struggling.
If you want to talk about the Tamworth game quickly, which we can do, right? I spoke to Pards last night about this on air. Yeah, he's been there as a manager and as a player. those games there where you are going to the lowest club in the competition on a 3G pitch, where literally the fans are behind you calling your manager a ham shanker.
He was loving it.
It's funny, wasn't it?
It was good.
So it's like that game was always going to be like that. You know, people say, yeah, but you know,
it shouldn't. It should never be.
But it can.
But
happen.
it can happen.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know what? Football is soccer. Football is the only game that where you can have two teams playing each other be completely different. One be superior to the other and the other useless. And the useless team can go a goal ahead. It really just depends on the day. You know, like if you play golf or you play tennis or you play darts, the levels between the pros and the semi-pros is night and day, right?
Yep.
Within football, all it takes is a galvanised energy of your team to work hard, put men behind the ball, not let a goal in, and you can get through a game. And we saw it. That's why I went to extra time. I really feel for Tamworth. They deserve the replay. It's such a shame they didn't get a replay at Tottenham. It would have been embarrassing for us. But for them and those lower sides, I think...
You mentioned the word embarrassing there. I'm not funny. They should have won at the end. I'm not on the whole... If you look at the whole game, Tottenham should have probably done enough. But they had the moments. They had the moments at the end of that game, two big chances.
But again, they didn't take
and
their
we
moment.
could be sitting here, and we're not. Because, by the way, cup competition is all about winning. It's all about going through. But we could be sitting here off the back of a positive win against Liverpool, having the most negative chat.
Oh, Spurs.
Because that would have been the biggest upset in FA Cup history.
Yeah, and I think he might have lost his job.
Big time.
Porro is a full/wing back who should be receiving the ball high and wide. He's not great as a defender or in central areas, in my opinion, which I agree with. But you're asking him to be a fullback. So that's why I'm thinking Jed Spence needs to
I think it's a player Porro would rate himself as well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
He'd rate himself, wouldn't he? I'd put him in that list. I'm a good player. He's got the haircut, looks the part, got the teeth. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Can score a goal.
He won't be telling people that he can't play at fullback.
No.
He'll be telling him he's the best fullback in the Premier League. He'll be telling people he's probably the best fullback in Europe.
But
Absolutely. He comes across like that, man. He ain't the only one. There's a few of them at that club who think they're better than what they are.
But he, like I said, back to Tamworth in the FA Cup. They definitely deserve the replay. It would have been nice for them to get that and get some money, but it is what it is. What do you make of the FA Cup and the taking the replays away? I suggested yesterday.
What is it all geared for, Madge? For the top teams. So that's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is what
terrible.
So because the schedules are so chocker because of European football, first and foremost, if we go across the competitions, I'm taking away the double semi-final in the Carabao Cup. That's pointless. We should be in the final now.
Terrible.
What's the point? We drew Liverpool, at home. That's our advantage.
You've probably got the worst manager as well for a two-legged affair in Ange. You know what I mean? You could be like 3-0 up. He won't be parking the bus. You could beat 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
You're out.
So,
isn't it?
For me,
it's true as well.
For me, that should go, right? In the FA Cup, I think they should do replays up until round 5. Because that means the lower teams are likely to still be in it. And it's like, it's 90 minutes, a replay, and then the second leg of the replay is 90 minutes and straight to pens. I think that's what they should do.
You look at my dad, for example. We talk about replays, right? Play for Enfield in the FA Cup. Fairy tale story. Play Port Vale. Not Port Vale out. Play Barnsley at Enfield. Draw. Go to Oakwell. Draw. Play the third game.
A third game?
Third game at White Hart Lane.
Why did they play a third game?
Because they kept rolling the replays. That's how it was back then. Yeah,
Shut up.
Yeah, mate. That's how it kept rolling. So then the third game was at White Hart Lane. Got beat comfortably 3-0 on it. But how can you take that away from grassroots clubs? How can you take that away from the teams that are lower down in the football league?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Madge? That is a big payday for somebody.
Absolutely. Emilio's bang on with
bad.
me. I said that. Should do replays for the third and fourth round. Absolutely. Replays third and fourth round. Then some of those lower clubs are likely
If you're
to be
not good enough to put away the teams lower down the leagues in 90 minutes, you should be going to a replay anyway.
But you know what it comes down to, and I didn't know this, it was only Pards told me, and it's good to have his insight, is that there's something to say that, on a European game, like European week, you can't have another game that week. Like they can only have an exclusive week. It's UEFA. So again, it is the football imperative.
Look, I think as long as the teams down there are looked after financially, and you listen to your radio station, not your own particular show, but others that are on there, and they say they're not.
No.
Like the money's not filtered down the pyramid well.
No, it's not at all.
And evenly. So that is a problem.
No, it's a massive
because you're seeing too many clubs fall off the cliff.
100%. And this is why the
That's
FA
an
Cup
issue.
is supposed to be those, those moments. Look at Plymouth, for example, knocked out of Brentford.
Unbelievable.
Plymouth have been torrid.
Teams seem to get a bounce when Rooney leaves.
It's weird, isn't it?
Unbelievable. The bounce when he leaves.
And you know what? I swear, like, you know, young Will, who's here from beyond Chicago, they'll never understand how good Rooney was in 2004.
The best. Up there, mate.
Yeah, the bicycle Rooney, but the 2004
Wayne Rooney, different gravy, mate.
In the Euros.
You're talking about people bursting onto the scene. 16-year-old kid at Goodison Park, where he done to past David Seaman.
Oh, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Can't get it right as a manager, though, can
Elite. Nah, mate.
Him or Big Ange.
You just give up, didn't you? I don't know why you keep putting yourself through it.
He just loves the game.
Must be hell.
You know what he should do?
I don't think the payoffs will be that big at that level. I really don't.
Isn't KSI doing some like football thing now? Like the football league thing. Just get involved with KSI and play football. Do like Rooney Street football.
Son's doing all right at Man United, isn't he?
Huh?
Son's doing all right at Man United. Kai, isn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone really off topic. You are listening to the Same Old Spurs podcast with Maj and Gaz. If you are online with us right now, keep those comments coming in. If you are listening at home, make sure you are involved on the socials at Same Old Spurs Pod. It's Maj, it's Gaz, it's the Same Old Spurs podcast. That's right, it is the Same Old Spurs podcast with Maj and Gaz. Very good to be back with you on a Monday evening. It's been forever. Trying to slot this in. Of course, Wednesday we've got the old enemy against Arsenal. I go to Thailand next week.
High class.
Which will be fun.
Got any room for me?
Well, you can come, mate. Get yourself involved. You like a little Thai massage?
I think this is a conversation, probably not for this podcast, son.
I mean, you know, a butt board one.
So what's the food like out there?
I've never been.
Oh, really?
I've been, yeah.
Oh, mate, you've been everywhere. Have you not been there?
I've never been because I was broke. When the lads went there years ago, James Anthony and...
Shout out to your old man. He's going, isn't he?
I'm bringing the pops.
Top.
I'm bringing Big Cole.
What a fella. Top man.
Big Cole's coming. So's young Will.
Marriott, you getting a gig, yeah?
Marriott's in there.
He's in the suitcase.
He's in the suitcase. But yeah, it's been a strange 6 weeks for Spurs. And the thing is, you know, the amount of injuries we had, the things that have gone on, I say this to anyone. If you took Raya, Gabriel and Saliba out of Arsenal and go and have a look at their results, you've got to take that into context. And so for me, until we get that team back together, the main 11, you know, Ange is in charge for me. So the Ange out one, I'm like, until I can see all the players back, for me, he's got till the end of the season. There's no point.
Do you know what it is with me with Ange Postecoglou, where I'm at? Like, because I think the credit that he had in the bank last year is gone. And I remember coming on your show with Pardew and yourself, and we talked about Ange Postecoglou a long time ago. And what I said was the clock started to tick. It's just whether how long that clock's going to keep ticking for, in terms of whether it be a couple of months, 6 months, a year. But I think it's starting. I still genuinely do believe in that. What I do think at the minute is the credit in the bank, from my perspective, is not there. It's a game-by-game judgment on him. It's like yesterday, the camera kept going to him, and when we're drawing with Tamworth, and I keep saying, you, blah, 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 what you might say, you're rubbish, all that. I looked at him off the back of the Liverpool game when he's pumping his fist, and when we beat Liverpool in the first leg, and I'm thinking, well done, Ange, there. It's a game-by-game thing for me at the minute.
Yeah, no,
I'm genuinely, and I think there'll be a lot of Spurs fans in that camp at the moment. You'll get your Spurs fans who are hell-bent Ange out.
Oh, there's lots of them.
Hell-bent Ange in. Who's available, Madge? Thomas Frank, Silver at Fulham. No guarantees.
But again, see like Thomas Frank, I always say to people, you want the manager that's been beaten by Plymouth Argyle?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, look, at the end of the day... Well,
we got beat by Plymouth.
Well, we were close to going out yesterday.
But we didn't.
Yeah. I know you talk about the FA Cup and things like that. A lot of things... look, at the end of the day, Brentford are above Tottenham in the table.
Oh, by like a point.
No, but come on. But what I'm saying is you have to take everything into account.
I'm telling you now, Thomas Frank is a good manager for Brentford. Put him in Spurs, it ain't going to be the same thing. It's like...
But you could make an argument, though, here, that, like... What credentials did Ange Postecoglou have before he came to Tottenham?
He won.
I think doing a good job for Brentford is a harder job than managing Celtic, in my opinion.
I'd have to disagree.
That's your opinion, but I think the job that he's done at Brentford, to keep a club like Brentford, who have lost their main man in Ivan Toney, and some of the recruitment with Buemo and people like that have come into the club to assist in that.
Buemo was there already.
It's been fantastic, though. But I'm not.
He steps up.
Yeah, but the player improvement though from him, he scores every game.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, right? Yeah, when you're managing
the pressure of managing Celtic's crazy.
Big club. I think.
So, come on, Will. Like, I'm not being funny. Like you talk you got to be consistent, because we talk about how hard the Premier League is. and how
Do you know
hard
what?
it is to stay in the
Russell's
mixer.
got involved on YouTube. He says there is not a single manager that could do better than what Ange's doing with our current impediments. And he, this is the thing.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not Ange out. Like,
Yeah.
it's a game by game thing. There isn't too many other candidates.
My thing
for the
has
job.
been with him. He has said stupid stuff.
Agreed.
And I would say to him, I'd love to bump into him because obviously, me and Ambrose went viral over Christmas. A few things that I said about Spurs, big numbers, right, from Talk Sport, and those things get back to people. Whatever else, it's like if I was his mate. And I said to Pards on the show, I said, look, because Pards is friends with all of these managers and whatever else. I said, if he was his pal and you went for a coffee with him, what would you say to him? I'd say, look, the Premier League doesn't allow to do what you've done other places. It doesn't allow it. He goes, you look at Graham Potter. Tell me what Graham Potter's philosophy is. What's Graham Potter's philosophy?
Yeah,
he ain't got one because you know what it is? It's game by game basis, as you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's where I'm at with him. And I'll be honest, I've done a little bit of research on the manager, Madge.
Okay.
Because
let's hear this.
Because at the weekend, it was his 70th game for Spurs.
Yep.
Right? 31 wins, 11 draws, 25 defeats. For me, that's not good enough. And he ain't this. That's where I'm at. I looked at his win percentage everywhere he's been. Now, bar Celtic, which was 73%, right? It's been 55% at Brisbane Roar, 47% at Melbourne Victory, 48% with Australia, 49% with Yokohama and Marinos, and it's 49% currently with Spurs. In my opinion, that's not good enough. So there's some little numbers there, that would suggest that, it isn't. But there's obviously trophies that he's won with Celtic and might have been bits and pieces. Them percentage numbers are not good enough for me. The facts remain. Tottenham's league form is nowhere near good enough this season and last year. It's got to improve quickly, but I do think, as you said, once we get a few players back, things will start to change.
But let's just look at say the last 10 years now, right, as a whole, because I think Poch came in 15, didn't he? 14, 15? So we've had 10 years now, right? From Poch coming in to elevating, I always say this, for me, the modern inception of Tottenham Hotspur starts with Marinho, right?
Brilliant.
That's where we sort of started.
We're nowhere near
up
there.
in the levels, right?
A minute, are we?
So he had Martin. One day Ramos comes in.
Where's he from?
He's from the Netherlands, It's a good place, and I love Tottenham. I love you as well. So then you look at what happened. One day Ramos comes in, useless, was nearly getting relegated, but he did win a trophy.
One day Ramos.
Harry Redknapp comes in. Mate, you look at the Harry Redknapp team, it's a joke. Like when the Premier League years comes on, it's like Bale, to Van der Vaart, to Modric, Scotty Parker.
Do you know what as well I've got loads of time for? The black kit.
Oh yeah.
With the yellow stripes in the Puma.
Luka Modric.
Oh,
Luka Modric
to go at Bolton.
Yeah, the light blue one, Stoke away.
Different gravy.
But, right, what I'm saying is...
You don't actually enjoy it enough. Sorry to keep coming in. You don't actually enjoy them moments enough.
No.
When you're in them. Do you know what I mean?
Because we're not... We're searching for something, right? Those times there, the pressure wasn't that high on us to win something because we'd won a Carabao Cup not that long ago. Now it's been so, this pressure of us having to win a trophy is why all Spurs fans are so angry right now. Yeah? Right, one, you got to remember, we ain't going to win the league right now with Big Ange Postecoglou and our recruitment. That's factual. So the fact of the matter is, let's go give these cups a blinding go.
All the eggs in a basket, mate.
All the eggs.
That's what I'm saying to Darius to do that. Let you get yourself to Wembley.
And Europa one, right? For me, the Europa is the one I want, yeah? Because you get Champions League football and you win a trophy. Now, if Ange can do that, that team, that starting 11, has the pedigree to beat anyone in that Europa League, in my opinion. Right?
He needs to get a couple of results on the board.
Yeah,
Tottenham.
I know, but again, we look
in
at
that competition.
But we look at the losses that we've had. Galatasaray away, difficult one. Rangers draw.
Poor that night, man.
Poor, but again,
terrible.
Again, who's playing?
Yeah,
Fraser Forster in goal, bruv.
Yeah.
You know, the Galatasaray. If the young lad who's in now was in goal against Galatasaray, we win that game.
The trouble is, man, I rate managers when they're in the face of adversity.
And Ange's.
Yeah, I rate managers who get results when they're up against it. When they need to find a way, whether that be for injuries, suspensions, underdogs in a certain fixture away from, whatever it might be, how good are you? What can you do to influence a football match? I've not seen enough.
And
I
let me tell you
haven't
something.
seen enough from him.
In the face of adversity, at home, he's beat the best team in the country right now, Liverpool. So for me, the credit, I'm giving you got
To follow it up, man. So what I'm saying is,
yep.
you got to follow it up.
Finish the job.
Yeah, go on.
Finish the job.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter remains, and I'm not gonna again, like everyone dampens on his achievements in Celtic or whatever. I'm not gonna dampen on the fact we beat Liverpool 1-0 at home. Yeah.
Great win.
With Mo Salah in the team.
100%.
With Trent coming on, with big Van der Vaart at the back for the whole thing. You had McAllister in there. You had Diego Jota.
I was with
Alisson
Will,
in goal.
actually. It was a nice evening. Thanks for the tickets. Up there with the prawns. It's fantastic.
Simon says, wake up, Madge. Ange has no in-game management. And that I agree with, yeah. And I haven't seen enough of his in-game management. But at the moment, you've got to give him at least...
Spurs' our fan base opinion on the manager will change, whether it be via a win or a loss game to game.
No, there's some people that are just
some
Ange
people
out.
are paramount on it. You know what I mean?
There's almost like a racist undertone to it.
You couldn't, you know them people though.
'Cause they don't want an
Do you know them people though? Like you couldn't say that they're in the wrong, could you? If you're, what are we in? What is the Premier League all about, man, for managers especially? It's results business.
Yeah.
The results ain't been good enough. So you couldn't argue with any one of them Spurs fans who said they want Ange out.
No, but again...
They haven't, mate. The results ain't been good enough.
But again, the thing is, as we all know, Ange going would not solve the main issue at hand. And the main issue
absolutely
at hand is the top of the tree, and we know this. Yeah?
Definitely. And also, like, you know where I'm at? You know how we got the recruitment right? Under Paratiba had a good spell, didn't we? Romero's, Van der Ven's, Udogie when he come in, Vicario coming in, Bentancur, Kulusevski, big contributions. In the Premier League now, if you have one or two bad windows that don't deliver, you're falling behind.
But hang about, you're
going to fall behind.
Tonight we've waxed lyrical about Bergvall, the new keeper, Solanke. Archie Gray's done well.
I've waxed lyrical about them today. They've done a decent job.
Yeah.
I'm not on about anything more. I'm not getting carried away.
But they've not had a period of time. Remember, like, when these boys first come in, didn't like, oh wow, then they make. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to give people a bit of time.
But the depth in the numbers weren't enough, Madge, as well in the window. It wasn't just about one or two. That, you know what I mean? What Tottenham struggled with real good depth this year, like having a good quality bit of depth in when you go.
Because our depth is injured as well. This is how ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is. Odegaard, does he even play for us?
He's bad.
He's like Solomon of last year. Do you remember having Solomon?
But you know, again, no. But you know them ones like, well, you know them ones where you take a punt on Werner. Can't be having them ones, mate.
Simon says, let's stop pretending, Madge, that it was amazing. With everyone fit, it was just as bad. It wasn't just as bad. People are getting completely confused. Against Newcastle away, for example, it was individual errors that led us to lose. There were so many games before everyone got injured. Yeah.
What I will, and I'm going to read them out to you.
Yeah.
What I will be surprised to come in for Simon there is that with Vicario, Romero, and Van der Ven on the pitch, Tottenham have lost a lot of football games. I'll read them out to you. I'm going to charge it. I've got my phone. I've done the numbers on it. What he says is true. We're hoping that when they come back, that Spurs can hit the straps and a little bit of form from other players can contribute. But Tottenham, and I've been at a couple, have lost a lot of game with all three of them in it, or even 2 out of 3.
Talk to me about the
I'll
games.
give you the names, mate, if you can bear with me.
So I'll go to the one from the off. Arsenal at home. Yeah, we lost that, didn't we? Arsenal at home, we lost. What was the problem in that game? What was the problem in that game against Arsenal?
Go on, I'm just going to look this up if you don't mind.
Vicario was the problem, right? If that has the new keeper in that game, we don't lose that game like that, right? So there's one. The next one, Newcastle away, we lost 2-1. Yeah, Solanke weren't playing that game for one, no striker. Like, we lost to Palace away, Ipswich, Brighton, etc. Yeah, no, the Brighton debacle was crazy, right? To be 2-0 up and let that slip back again. Individual errors again of this, like Udogie, these other people. This is why your Jed Spence's, even Archie Gray to a degree, these players need to be dropped when they do that. You know what I mean? How did it go at the end of last season when our injured players came back?
Still trying to look up these.
Right. It's as simple as this. Let's see. We're talking to the people on the chat right now and to you guys at home if you are listening on audio. And you can message us in on Instagram, etc. Will you, this season, take a cup to win some silverware and finish 10th? Because I, for one, would do that all day long, right? We need to get this cup. We need to get it off our back and go again.
I've got the games here, if you don't mind, Madge.
Yeah, go on.
So obviously the manager lately been using the fact that the centre halves have been out and a major issue. So Defeats. These are defeats, and who started? So Newcastle, Vicario and Romero started, lost. Arsenal.
No Van der Ven.
Is it? Yeah, but what I'm saying, 2 out of 3.
But no Van der Ven.
Yeah, okay. But like what
Van
I'm
der
saying
Ven's the
is,
most
is like,
important one.
okay, but you what? No, I'm not going for the whole 11. Anyway, defeats you start. I'm talking about the 2 centre halves and the goalkeeper.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is the whole 11 playing together.
Yeah, okay.
Can I have that stat?
If you put, I can produce that, but it'll take me a long time. I think you'll find that the majority of our front line has been together for the majority of it.
No,
but anyway, going on what the manager said, Newcastle, Vicario and Romero. What happens is when you're on the back foot, you start to become a little bit silly, which these boys are doing. Newcastle, Vicario and Romero. Arsenal, Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, lost. Brighton, Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, lost. Palace, Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, lost. Ipswich, Vicario and Romero. Bournemouth, we had none. And then Chelsea, Romero and Van der Ven both come off injured. Liverpool, none. So, yeah, there's been a lot of games when them boys have been playing and they haven't. And we've lost.
The big one for me is when you don't have Van der Ven in that side is a problem. But then again, we had Van der Ven last year and he fell over at Newcastle and we got
what is clear though, mate, is they will boost you. You know what I mean? You need them back.
100%.
They're so good, but you need other people performing. That's why when you picked up the captain there, the number 7 for us, Min Son earlier on match, because I look at him on the team sheet there when it's named, and when you come out on the pitch, he looks the same. He looks the part. He's got all the fans in the crowd. I love him. Everyone loves him. Not doing it, match. He's not doing it. He's finding things and effort out there.
I just think the way that we play just does not suit him whatsoever.
Playing safe now, Madge.
Because he's got no room to run into.
I still think, you know what I think, and I think the deal that Spurs have structured for him and Son is fantastic. You've got him for 18 months now to June next year, because at the end of that period, one thing's for sure, that would be it for Son at the highest level, in my opinion. Yeah. Age taken into account. I still think Son will have an important part to play for us for the rest of the season. I still think he'll chip in with his goals, but it's been really tough watching him in the minute because it's just not there, is it? You know them ones where he used to come in and bend around the goalie off either foot. You know what I mean? It's just he's finding things very, very difficult. And when you got Timo Werner who's struggling on that side as well, and you got Brennan Johnson on the other side who even still he's chipping in with his numbers. His general play is like it's just miles off. It's been a difficult watch for Spurs.
Sonny's definitely not scored enough goals this year, right? But he's still popping up with 6 assists, 5 goals. Do you know what I mean? I think that the way that our front line works now is very different. I think there's goals coming from everywhere. The thing I'd say about Son is, how old is Sonny now? Let's have a look how old Sonny is. I think he's got to be, because they changed his age, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's 32.
He's 32, right?
So was he going to be 33 when he's done with us?
Right.
In the modern day, in the way that Spurs play 33 in that position, Madge?
Hey, what year? 92. So he is the same age as Mohamed Salah, right? Now, who's the best player in the Premier League this season?
Salah,
right? So it can come, it can go. I'm not writing him off.
I agree with that. That's a great shout.
And you know what? Did you see yesterday in the Spanish Super Cup? The rolling of Real Madrid,
yeah,
right. Who scored in there?
Another young lad.
Yeah, the young lad. But who else scored? 36-year-old Lewandowski. There are certain players and certain people. Don't write them off because of their age. If Liverpool is sensible, you go and give Mo Salah 3 years and say, take what you want. You deserve it, right? Having Sonny for me at a club, one, I am going to reward him straight away with his loyalty, because there's a lot of man in the Bundesliga that left the sinking ship. And as Andrew said, Sonny has always been a streaky performer. He's absolutely right. When Sonny first came in, people thought he was useless. And then there's like the best season he had was under Conte, wasn't it? Is that when he got the golden boot that year with Salah, and we got top 4. Him and Kane were on fire that year. Remember, he's lost Harry Kane, right? It's been difficult for him to change what he does. What I do miss with Sonny is that ability just to cut inside with that shot, blah, blah, blah. I just think we've made it very busy in that area with the way we play.
The trouble is, he shouldn't be getting used as much as what he is.
Agreed.
He shouldn't be that guy. Like, we should be maximising his output by using him in the correct way.
But that's why for me,
back onto recruitment, Madge, when you take on Timo Werner,
yes,
and you try and go to, you know what I mean? You
go the budget route. I don't think Timo Werner was ever going to be the front runner. It was supposed to be Odegaard. And
yeah,
again,
of course.
If you look at what we're linked to in this transfer window, and again linked
he started
to,
playing off the right though, didn't he, Odegaard a bit?
No, he started on the left. The first game
really?
of the season was on the left, wasn't it? And it was Johnson right.
He looked like he was both-footed.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see him come back into the frame.
But that don't like, you know, again, you sort of look at the club, that don't, when you look at that move though, Odegaard and Werner are going to be the backup to Son. That's dreadful.
Yeah, but
like, you know what I mean? You're taking a punt on a young kid who's no, but what I'm saying is he's a young boy coming in from Burnley. You know what I mean? Don't throw your hat on him to be the saviour. And especially start being as the backup to Heung-min Son. It needed to be better in that area, mate. Them wide areas in modern day football are probably the most key areas, mate.
But that's why
it's got to be better.
We all know we should have went and got Eze.
Yeah.
But we're not going to pay the wages. It's as simple.
Be interested to see how Spurs move, mate. I've got a bit of transfer news. We'll get onto that.
Yeah, I had a link with Rashford.
That is a signing that I'd love. And it's a signing that I've always, and I know what it comes with. I know the wages. I know the attitude. I know him the way that he likes. I know what he likes. He's into fashion and partying, whatever it is. But what I'm saying is, you look at his you look at his goals that he's got for Manchester United, his attributes as a football player, his age, the fact that he can play on the left, the right, through the middle. It's a big tick for me. I look at Jadon Sancho put up polls on our own social media account when he was available. Spurs fans, why would you want him? I've seen him make a big impact at Chelsea. In fact, I saw him do it in front of me at Spurs, in front of 60,000 fans, because he done a bit against us that night, didn't he? And I think Rashford is one that could deliver for you. Again, people make comparisons with Dele Alli. Yeah. Has he fallen off? Has he peaked early? One thing about Dele Alli and Rashford, they've played a lot of football from an early age
100%.
and gone to a higher match very early. Yeah, to stay consistent, and without falling off is very, very difficult. But I'd love him. I would take him all day long.
I would take him, and I think Ange could probably get something out of him. And I think being in that dressing room with Kulo, Madders, and stuff. Speaking about leaders, Kulo's a leader.
Yeah.
Kulo's got leaders' credentials.
I think he thinks he's better than people because he probably has been. Like this year, he backs himself a lot.
Kulo.
Very, very, very confident footballer.
He's a good player.
But rightly so. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you what I don't really understand. And again, you want to single out who's a leader and who's not. You know, Sonny, for me, is... You come into the club and he's happy Sonny and he's the guy and he's been there the longest time. You know, he is almost like the ambassador for the club rather than the captain. Ange's reluctancy to use James Maddison really baffles me, because I think Maddison is the type of player, we know this because Will's from Leicester, and Leicester fans have always said he'll turn up for 10 games, get injured, and he's very inconsistent. But I think he needs to be the main guy. He needs to be taken off all the time. And I think he'd actually make probably a better captain than Son.
I agree with you 100%. I listened to your show, as I said yesterday. You spoke about that. It's a good topic, to be fair. And James Maddison's performance levels have not been good enough this season, Madge. So you're putting the manager in a difficult position, because Kulusevski's really come to the fore in a more central role. That's the position that James Maddison plays in. So you're asking the manager to make a decision. But in a team that really lacks leaders, and a player in James Maddison who I think will go a little bit into hiding to a certain degree when it ain't quite going well for him, laps it up when it is going well for him. We've spoke about that on the podcast before. I think you need people like that in your team.
Yeah, and also, like,
I really, really do.
He's the one player that can unlock something.
I'm telling you one thing. You go to the Emirates on Wednesday, you need that boy in your team. Because you need people who can do a bit with a football, and you need people who can make things happen. And if he's at it and he's got the right attitude, because there's no doubt, mate, he's fallen off a little bit in terms of not really like drastic too much, but he was in the England fold match, doing a bit, seeing him online on social media, enjoying everything, being linking up with the England squad, big part of it. Now you're not in an England squad at all, and people like Morgan Gibbs-White have come in and they're in front of you. Players are getting in front of you, so he needs to do a little bit, become consistent. But I agree with you.
Scored 8 goals this season in the Premier League, 4 assists.
Well, that's more than your striker.
You know, it is.
You know what I mean, Maddison? 8 goals in the Premier League. That's a good return, mate, for me.
Seeing it feels like he's played a bit.
That
of
really
a bit
is.
part.
Like, you know, I mean, if you're just over halfway through a campaign, if you could get over double figures for a player like him, 12, 13.
You know what? Because Johnson's got good numbers on the board this season, so that kind of deflects from the fact that he doesn't do anything.
What is your rate of feeling on him? Because do you know he had that moment, didn't he, when he was up against it with a lot of fan backlash. Overboard with it, fans go as well. But as silly people
again, I
do.
don't think it was our fans. I think it's other people.
Yeah, people do. They're just silly. But
can I also just get clarity on this? We sold Solomon, right? He's not on loan.
No, he's on loan now.
Is he on loan?
Yeah.
Check that out because a lot of
He is
people are
on
saying
loan.
about getting Solomon back
Yeah.
from Leeds because he's doing all right, Leeds.
Again, the big golf in the thing, but I'm telling you, he's better than Timo Werner.
Timo Werner, I feel for. That is a man shot of confidence.
I don't. In
he's on loan. He's
in
on
too
loan.
many clubs. He's got a lovely number, mate. He's earning a fortune, Timo Werner. He's earning a fortune, mate. And he ain't, you know what I mean? You know his job, Madge?
Yeah.
When you play, it ain't that difficult. Receive a ball with a bit of quality, go by your man and cross it.
I know.
That's all the manager's asking for him to do because he ain't got nothing else. This manager is asking his wingers to do a very basic role. Receive it, get it out your feet, beat your man, get across him with a bit of quality. He's not asking you to do a little step over, come in, bend money. He's not asking you to do that.
No, I
Struggling.
agree, but I do think, as I said, like, you know, moving forward, I just think we need to really settle this team, know the team that we're playing and who's going to be involved. And I think, you know, you've got to make Madders and find a way that Madders is a big part of that, and whether that's surrounding him by people that are going to do some of the dirty work. How he played against Manchester City was phenomenal. I know it was his birthday, scored 2 goals, was absolutely important. United away was brilliant. So we know it's in there. I just think taking him off. There are games where it's frustrating for him because the way that teams bank up and it's very hard to unlock them.
I like the way he passes a football you watch him.
Yeah, he does. It's
You know what I mean?
absolutely superb.
You know what I mean? It's with intent, you know what I mean, the pass, and it goes to where it needs to go. But, as we've said, let's not get away from it, though, lads. His individual performances, for his standards, and he'll know that more than anyone, have not been good enough. So, look, you know the good thing is there's so much football to be played.
But this is why I'm not getting carried away. I know, for me, I think the position that we are in the league is a real false position. I don't think it necessarily reflects the standard of some of the football that we played. Bro, can we just quickly talk about, I know because we missed games, that Newcastle game at home. We were robbed, no?
Yeah, terrible.
That handball was a joke.
Handball, big moment in the game.
Joke, bruv.
Big moment.
And do you remember, I think one of the first ever podcasts we did here was when Eric Dyer had that handball against Newcastle.
Terrible,
remember?
unbelievable.
And we was 1-0 up, and it ended up being 1-0.
You know,
that
we ain't
joke.
had too much fun against them over there. Do you remember the Loris error that he made against them?
Yeah.
It's not been a fixture
No,
we've
but
enjoyed.
I'm saying, like, so that was a joke.
Trouble is with that game, like we had the sight, didn't we, Isak, when he puts one wide. Teams just getting in behind us too easily. Like it's got to improve.
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, you know, I think
You've got like I don't think this sporting director at Spurs is doing a great job. And the only way that you're going to tell whether he's doing it, we've spoken it though. You've already mentioned it. Archie Gray, if he could do a bit, Bergvall, if he could do a little bit. But you know what I mean.
But remember,
the recruitment's got to be better.
His sort of project would have been told by Levy is, I want you to build me a squad.
It's difficult when you're working with restraints, isn't it?
Yeah,
Madge?
but also it's very clear that he's been told, I want you to build me a young squad with the average age of 21. Yeah, that can do a bit. I want Europe's finest now, right? And you know, even
that's very, very. I'll tell you what, mate. That is very, very. What we've seen this year, it's very, very difficult. If that is what you've been set to task to do, like that's
again
tough.
For Daniel Levy and his business model, the way he's thinking about it is with Kane, Ericsson, Vertonghen, and even out of Wild. The way these players came in, they were all like, well, they're doing a bit somewhere else. They're okay. And they came in and we made a very good... Even Kyle Walker came very young and became Kyle Walker. So
he's had enough, hasn't he, at City?
He's had enough, yes. Would you have him at Spurs?
Absolutely. But he ain't a player that we're going to be in for. I think he's got up to a lot off the field, isn't he? I think he just needs to get out of the country, the lad. He needs to get out of the country. That's what I'm saying. Get himself away from
Andrew
him.
Smith says, Lange has been working for the future, not the present, and we're seeing the results. And
Don't get carried away. I'm going to say it.
No, he's
Don't
saying...
get carried away.
No, he's saying that we're seeing the results, as in, for example, it's been so up and down because you've got a young team.
But if he's saying that we're seeing on the results based on what? Because what I will say is...
No, I've just explained what he's saying.
Go on.
We're seeing the results. We're losing to Ipswich and Crystal Palace.
So yeah,
because we're building for a future.
My bad.
But you give it 2 years' time. I just think. Listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Patience is a big problem in football, match.
It is.
It don't exist. Look at the meltdown that Mob are having down the road. They're second in the Football League. They're second in the Premier League.
Yeah, but
it's mental. Like their fans are a joke.
No, but
I'm telling you, mate. What's a joke? That Mob are.
They are right. They go into a pit place now where they are replicating Spurs with Pochettino. That's what they're doing. And the thing is, they are now effed because Adu's went to Forest, right? That was a big part of what they did well, was Adu, right? So now they're looking at things. They've got a very, not arrogant manager, but he's just as stubborn as someone like Ange. False
750 million the fella's spent now.
Yeah.
Since 2020. 5 years, 4.5 years, 5 years of football. That's a lot of money.
So he's had time, and again,
he's nicked an FA Cup. What was that in his first year?
Yeah,
I don't even think he took them all the way through that route.
I think he did.
He joined in, didn't he?
He came in December time, and
Right.
he don't start till January.
Right.
People often forget that. Arteta won an FA Cup with Arsenal. Fair play. It did save him his job, and that was his credit in the bank. But what I'm saying is as simple as this, right? With the Premier League now, it is the most competitive and best league I've ever seen as a product in terms of all right, let's go through the whole table. There's someone in every team you take at Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah, there's players around.
There's players everywhere.
That's why recruitment, you look at these players in the Premier League, because me, you, Will, and all the fans that are watching that, and all the fans around who support all their team, no one knows any of the players that come into clubs and they're being linked with. Unless you are a football, unless you are mad or play FIFA and that, the players that are being linked with clubs, I don't care what anyone says. I love it when someone goes, "You seen him? What a player he is! 50 mil, 50 mil. He's a fantastic player. I've seen him. You ain't seen nothing of him, mate.
Do you know
You're
what?
hoping he's good, but you ain't seen nothing of him. And them types of moves, you're looking at Brighton's, you're looking at Brentford's, you're looking at Bournemouth, the recruitment at all these clubs, mate. You don't know any of the players, but they're doing a little bit.
I've said this already.
That's when it comes down to the boys in the boardroom.
No. I'm going to contradict it. I'm going to counteract that.
Fair enough.
The fact of the matter is, even looking at the people here, people like Simon, Simon, building for the future, crying face. We'll be building the championship with his manager as well time. If we told Simon 2 years ago, we're signing Semenyo. Oh, yeah, where's he from? Reading.
Yeah, agree.
Oh, God.
I agree. You're not disagreeing with me. You're agreeing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the way that Spurs fans think is like we're going to go over to like PSG or we're going to go to Real Madrid and go, you see Mbappe, we'll have him. We're Spurs.
Yeah.
Know yourself. Like, what we are is what we are. You know, I'm sounding at Ange now, right?
Do you think there's less players known in football now than what it used to be? I used to look for a Premier League team and know a lot of the boys there in most teams. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, I just think there's a lot more like influx of wear from abroad. And yeah, look, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of work that goes
I've said this before,
to signing
and I'll say
footballers,
this again. I'll say this before and I'll say this again. The last marquee signing that Tottenham Hotspur made was what?
Gareth.
No, because he wasn't a marquee player.
Oh, what? As in what turned out to be, or what was?
What was? Who was the last chat on YouTube and people at home listening? Who was the last marquee signing Tottenham Hotspur made? I want to see their opinions.
Helder Postiga.
Postiga? Jose Domingue?
Yeah.
Andy Sinton?
Yeah.
Could have been Andy Sinton. I want to know what you think, guys. Who was the last marquee signing that Spurs made?
I'll be honest with you. If you have to look at what they've, I can't see one. I can't find one.
You can't find one.
I've struggled because you're looking at Richarlison, record signing. I'm looking at Undembele, record signing. I'm looking at Lo Celso's. I'm looking at Archie Gray's, the numbers that we've spent for
Russell and Daniel and those guys got it right. Van der Vaart wasn't a marquee signing. Van der Vaart was on the way out.
How about Teddy at the second spell?
No. It was Jurgen Klinsmann. 1994, Jurgen Klinsmann had played in the World Cup for Germany, was still fantastic. We bought Jurgen Klinsmann. It was Klinsmann mania, right? We bought in people when we played Sheffield Wednesday away that first game. The Sheffield Wednesday
What
fans.
I'm saying is, man, whatever goes into recruitment, yeah, because it isn't a case. Like,
and again, I'll say that Van der Vaart was not a marquee signing. He was at the end of his
recruitment.
He was great though, and he's a cult hero at Spurs.
Whether it be watching games, whether it be paying attention to detail, like usual, whatever it might be, it needs to be better at Spurs, and if not better, it needs to be consistent. Because I'll say it again, you have one or two bad windows, you're going to fall behind.
But this is why
because
Spurs,
other teams, yeah, they're getting it right, mate. They've upped their game off the field, and when it comes to analysing football players, I struggle with at Spurs sometimes with the analysing of a football player and what is required, and I think other clubs are getting that right.
But this is what I'm saying. The other clubs that are getting it right, your Brightons, your Bournemouths, and people are mentioning the fact that there's managers that are improving players there.
That's important.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is they're working in very different circumstances where there is so much less pressure on them and less. Do you think Nuno went in with the idea that they were going to go for top 4 this year?
I know what you mean there, but
his project would have been
I think it's
staying
a
in the Premier
results
League.
business. I don't agree with you there because I think teams, if you lose a run of games, you'll get the sack. Gary O'Neill. We were talking about.
But I'm not saying that.
I'm saying you're saying less pressure. You've said that other teams there's less
because
pressure.
he's near the bottom. What I'm saying is, when you're Nottingham Forest and you've gone on a roll like him, okay, let's rewind to the summer transfer window, and I'd go, guys, we're signing Chris Wood. What would you say to me?
I've said this one before.
Tell me to F off.
Absolutely. I saw Chris Wood at Newcastle. But what you've got a manager there is a manager with a philosophy, a manager who's got an old school way of playing, where he's got a target man, a front man, who
and everyone cried when Conte played that football.
Yeah, I've heard that one churned out for us. But what I'm saying is Nuno there, his attention to detail has been fantastic. He doesn't play the same way every game.
The same way
he
or
doesn't
not,
play the same way. This is what I'm saying. You have to watch Nottingham Forest, and you'll get he faces his opposition. He sets up for his
but
players.
there
Chris
isn't
Wood
one game.
will always be the main man up the front.
There isn't one game I've watched Nottingham Forest, and remember I have to watch all this football for work. Yeah, that they play like free flowing, expansive football. Alanga's brilliant, by the way. Yeah, he's a great player. Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah, good.
Some great players. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying
But
about.
They bought the boy Milenkovic. Now the boy Milenkovic at centre half, Madge, was linked with Spurs when he was at Fiorentina, right? Mm-hmm. Now that is a typical signing that could come to Spurs, play in the Anjouay, and be dreadful.
Yeah.
That is a great example because I've seen his attributes.
Now Real Madrid won.
He is an old school centre half.
Yeah.
Throwback, strong, physical. He'd struggle at Spurs, but it's just certain players for certain philosophies under a certain regime. And you have to get it all right. The recruitment staff needs to work hand in hand, so with the man in charge to find the players that are required. We have tried to do that at Spurs. We've tried to identify players to play the Anjouay. Brennan Johnson's one of them. Yeah, he's not good enough. But he does play the Anjouay. Get it wide to him. One trick pony, get your crossing. It needs to be better, mate. It does.
Which needs to be better?
I just do think the recruitment across the board needs to be better. You've identified Dragoussin.
Okay,
no, hold on, let me finish. You've answered me. You've identified Dragoussin to be a centre half for you, in the way that Ange is the closest backup to Romero and Van der Ven. It's not good enough.
Okay, so I'm going to give you this.
It's not good enough, man.
So me and you, we're going out next week, yeah? And you go to me, Madge, I want a new car, yeah? I say, fantastic. We go for Lamborghinis, Ferraris. You go, no, I want a Corsa, yeah? But I want a Corsa to perform like a Ferrari. That's not going to happen, Gaz.
No.
So when you're going out into this marketplace...
I disagree. Because the only reason I disagree is because I'm seeing the numbers that we're playing for players and the numbers that the teams in and around us that are before the over.
This is where you're getting it completely wrong. When you're looking at the number that we're buying players for, yeah, that here you go, here's £65 million, yeah.
But that's what it is all about.
No.
It's a business.
It's not.
It's a business match.
You're forgetting the back end of the business. Wages. Now, who would be better? Who would be better than Johnson? Who would be better than Johnson that we should have got? Neto.
Yeah, no. You're not getting what I'm saying. I'm talking about the teams that are around us. Yeah, teams that are buying players that no one's heard of. Yeah.
We did that
Yeah, but what I'm saying, they're getting it right though. They're players. They're working in the systems for them clubs. That's a tick. We need that. There are people at Tottenham Hotspur that walk around day to day, earn a good living. Their job is to get the best players in the door for the best business.
So Brennan Johnson, for example, if we look at that, yeah, Brennan Johnson, whose numbers and returns suggest that he's doing his job.
Yeah, I'm using him as one example, match. Right? That's all.
But what I'm saying is the two players we should have got instead of having Werner again on a loan, and Brennan Johnson is Neto, who's at Chelsea now.
Yeah, in and out of Chelsea.
Out of Chelsea, but he's at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Eze, who's still at Palace. Why did we not get them?
Money and financial.
Wages.
Yeah.
Not their cost, the wages. Now, as long as it comes back to... Exactly. Matt says, Neto hasn't even been great for Chelsea this season. But that's what we're talking about. Why are all these other rubbish teams above us with 10% of our budget, Madge? Simon, again, because, as I mentioned before, these players... these teams, your Bournemouths, your Brightons, etc., the way they're recruiting, they are recruiting in such a way.
I've just seen that from Justin Bowden. His Gad saying that we should have kept Nuno there. I'm not saying that at all. What I will say is that he has found a way to get the best out of a group with the help of the club, identifying the correct talent that's going to suit his way of playing, and they're churning out results. He's done a fantastic job. If he was to go in, because he's probably a contender now, based on what he's doing for a big job. If one comes available, he's in the running for it.
As you
but
say,
it doesn't mean that when you go to that next club, that big club, different set of scenarios, different group of players, different working of players, you might have a chairman who goes, right, we want to play a great brand of football here. And that's what happened at Tottenham. We wanted to play a decent brand of football. Didn't quite work out.
But
it doesn't. It won't.
Do you know what I can't wait for the end of the season, yeah? And what we're going to see is Liverpool winning the Premier League, yeah? I hope it doesn't happen, but Liverpool winning the Carabao Cup, say they beat us and they go to the final.
Do you reckon they'll beat us in a set of leg? Difficult task.
It's a difficult task, but let's just say, right? So they win that, yeah? Then the FA Cup's won by Man City. Let's just say that they go on a cup run because they've got easy draw. Yeah. Again, it's the same old thing, and it doesn't matter how good Bournemouth have been this season,
Agreed.
or Forest or whatever else. They've done exactly what we've done. It's no different. So I'm prepared to try and build up this squad of players, these youngsters that we've got, for a future that we go, Jesus Christ, they are good players. I watched the game because my son, Leo, whose birthday is tomorrow, same as yours. Happy birthday, Leo. Right? He said to me, what's been your favourite game that you've watched at Spurs? And I went, that's a great question.
It's a good question.
Right? And I said, you know what? One week that stands out for me was we beat Arsenal at home, Gareth Bale and Danny Rose. Gareth Bale and Danny Rose scored. Danny Rose scores in his debut, the Screamer, yeah? Then the weekend comes, Chelsea come, we beat them 2-1. Defoe penalty, Gareth Bale, great. We got John Terry sent off and we're all singing about John Terry and all that kind of stuff. We got into the Champions League that season. Now, Gareth Bale, when he scored that goal against Chelsea and that goal against Arsenal, he hadn't scored in something like 35 games before that. Yep. This is the same player that went on to score in the Champions League final a bicycle kick and revered as one of our best players. Now, we can't be so gun-ho. Being gun-ho has not worked for Spurs. The last time Spurs had any consistency was under Pochettino. His first season was rubbish. They got together in the second season. And this season has had a lot go wrong for him. Now, I don't like the way he talks to the media at times. I don't like his stubbornness. But I got to give someone time. And this is why I'm like, if we start this again with some of another philosophy, with some of another style, we are back to square one, and you will fall further down that pecking order because Bournemouth will be doing their thing with their manager. You know, you'll have Nuno doing his thing. You know,
mate, I agree, and I want exactly the same thing. The trouble is you can't keep losing games.
Absolutely.
And that is a problem. And Spurs have lost too many. So it goes back to it. Where he had a little bit in the bank, the defeats have cost him big time. So now fans are on it. And Tottenham can't afford to keep losing games, mate. Project or not, want to stay with him or not, it's not been good enough.
But the
fact
remains, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton in our league, are we going to get relegated?
Nah, Tottenham are too strong to get relegated.
So we're not going to get relegated. If we can go and win some trophies with this guy, not get relegated.
Fantastic.
Cool.
It's tough. Look, we got Arsenal on the weekend on Wednesday, mate. What do you make of that? First of all, Bentancur, I'll tell you what, he don't get no luck, does he?
He doesn't.
I'm not being funny. That one was a strange one in the week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That Bentancur one, he sort of went down for the ball. The good news is, had a little look today. It's only going to be the protocol, a couple of weeks that he's going to be out. So he should probably be back for the Hoffenheim game on Thursday, 23rd of January. That weren't nice to see against Liverpool, match. That one where he went down, was it? Not good.
No, it didn't look nice at all.
But yeah, big game tomorrow, match. Spurs on Wednesday. Yeah, on Wednesday. Spurs v Arsenal, mate.
I'm with Matt here in the chat. He said most successful teams struggle before they succeed. The second half of this season will show us if Ange's the right man or not. And he's absolutely right. There's still a lot of games to go. There's a lot of football to be played, and we are in 3 cup competitions. And for me, that's the priority, the cup competition.
Do you know what I'm excited about as well?
What's
I
that?
said it to you because it's been a time where it's not been exciting. Tottenham need to do a bit this window. We're nearly, halfway through? They've brought a goalkeeper in. Tick, that's worked. He looks a good goalkeeper. But they do need to and will bring in an attacking-minded player. That's fantastic for me because it means I won't have to see someone like Timo Werner, for example.
He's not good.
So that's a big positive. I know, honestly, it's that crucial for me. Like he's miles off.
Yeah. I don't understand why Ange just hasn't put him into the wilderness and just
I'm surprised, mate.
Just let go, mate. Like we can't give you back to
Surprised, mate.
We can't give you back to RB Leipzig for some reason.
Looking forward to it. Look, at the end of the day, you got to look forward to it. Spurs we got a nice trip to Anfield, semi-final. We'll have 6,000-7,000 there. Massive game. Can you get yourself to Wembley? Europa League, we're going to return to that. Hopefully, a few players back, 1 or 2 added. You know what I mean? Can we kick on in that? Good. But what I'm saying is, what's so crucial about Wednesday is Tottenham need to leave the Emirates with something.
Rev has asked a good question. He said, Madge, I thought you were Ange out. Now, I was getting to the point I fed up and I had enough.
Changes game to game. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, like
it will do, man.
But my thing is, the sensible side of me looked at the situation and went, right, who's out there? Now, our next managerial appointment, I'm not rushing into, mate, because we are finding ourselves sacking manager after manager. If there is someone who becomes available that we want, like, ideally, bro, I swear down to I'd go get Poch again. I wouldn't care. Yeah, I'd have Poch back.
Do you know what the funny thing about football is that, you know, one thing, this is how funny the game is, right? That if Spurs started to continue to lose games, right, and you were linked with Pochettino again, right, and it got that bad, I'd probably go, go on. And I've been one who's sat on here and said I hate the man for going to Chelsea. That's football.
Yeah, of course.
It is because you start thinking.
Come back, I'd have my t-shirt back.
You would. You'd have it on. And that is the game. Yeah. That is how fickle this football game is. It's why we love it. And it would be. And we'd be like, yeah, Poch, you'd be good for us. You'd be good.
Do you know what, Simon? I'm just gonna break this down now. Simon, I love Simon being involved in it because he's so active. So I really appreciate you, mate. He said beating Tamworth in extra time has changed his mind. Simon, bro, like. You must have played some football at any level.
Simon gets
in your
to
life.
you every time we podcast.
I know, but it's just like
it's the only one you talk to. He's living rent free in your head.
But you know what
Simon's doing you up there, bro.
Like, and I'm not saying like we get it on. Like I saw it yesterday, and people that have you've played football, Gaz, yeah. And I'm not talking about the highest level, at any level, right? When you go and play against a team that are less than you, that are playing on a crappy 3G pitch or whatever else. And you are a professional that you're used to certain ways and there is no given you're going over there and rolling them 9-0. That doesn't happen. This is football. This is what happens. And yeah, it ain't good enough that we didn't like put Tamworth to the sword early doors. The biggest game of their lives. You've got a guy called Tonks who looks about 54. He's 33, Tonks, right? Yeah. Can you believe it? He was 33. Right? He's younger than me, right? But it's like... a guy that played for that team yesterday played with Will, like for his club. These people, imagine if do
you know what it is, right?
Tell me this now. Tell me this now. If we had a 5-a-side game, over Power League, and like Sandro and a little mob turns up, of professional footballers, are you putting your all in, or are you going to go our way and get rolled? You're going to be the best you've ever played in your life because you're stepping up to an occasion. Like you got like Big Stevie over there, be watching Big Coles there, and it's on ITV.
Do you know what? You know what the thing is as well. You know, what is relevant for me in this is the Liverpool game just a couple of days before. So you've got the euphoria of that win, and I'm not being funny. I thought Archie Gray's post-match interview was fantastic.
Which game?
Of yesterday, Tamworth, because he owned it and he said the players weren't good enough against Tamworth. And he goes, do you know what he said? I don't use this pitch as an excuse. I've played on these type of pitches all my life.
Yeah,
that's what he said, and that's what I love. And what I'm saying is, from a Spurs fan, you're talking about that euphoria after beating Liverpool, and you go to Tamworth and you make it tough and you make it hard viewing for Spurs fans. And that's difficult.
You know yourself.
I get it. I know who you're playing, and I get that.
I'll give you the perfect game. Do you remember that game you walked off the pitch?
It's been a few.
No, I'm going to go. So imagine this, we're playing for our old
Don't believe the rumours.
Right?
Don't believe the rumours.
Gazza, literally walked off the pitch and said, I'm done.
Yeah, that was at the end of my career.
No. right? So imagine this. Gazza, who is a good player, right?
Was.
No, still are,
A
mate.
bang average player.
No, just...
Don't try and give me a pump now, Will.
I'm giving you the
behind
pump,
the camera.
right? It is... We're playing a team who were useless. They were useless.
They were terrible.
Terrible. I'm telling you now, at least 5 of them were like the boss man from the corner shop. Like, you know the boss man is like, you want the purple vibe? Like, they were that guy in it, like, you know what I mean? And... Then all of a sudden, you get nutmegged by them in the middle of the park, and there's a guy behind you who's absolutely awful, right? That I've bought
I
on.
think he done me with a pace, didn't he?
Yeah, and you're just like, what is
I
going
know
on?
I know the point you're making.
Yeah, and it's just like it can happen in football.
But
for me,
win
around. Win the next one.
And you're with your perspective, you can't be wrong. But I do think that with other people's perspective and how they look at, they can't also be wrong. It's just an opinion on how you take that.
But what I'm going to do is like I do in life. Right, I'm going to put things into a 7-day period and go, we beat Liverpool in the week.
Yeah, cool.
And win the next round. I'm all right. Thanks,
mate,
cheers.
It's, well, as we said, if you look at everything from our last podcast, the games that we've had, the injuries that we've had, getting the balance.
Andrew King, keep Big Ange forever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Getting the balance right.
Louis Smythe's absolutely right. We need Gaz on Saturday.
Well, shout out to Louis.
We need Gaz on Saturday.
Because his mate here, he's pulled me down.
We need Gaz on Saturday. I tell you what we do. You managed to get away with Thursday. I got you out.
Yeah. I'm back. I'll hopefully be back soon.
But honestly, listen, Spurs fans.
It's a good chat. Look, I enjoy it. I enjoy the chat. I've missed it. But at the end of the day, I think that we're all in it. Stay in it. You got to stay in it. We will stay in it.
Well,
it's been difficult, innit, Madge? This podcast, you know what I mean? Because I'm not funny. Where's
those games? Where's the games? Show me the games.
Go on, mate. Because you've been really unwell as well over that. You didn't mention that, and I've been really unwell.
Give me those games.
But here's the games.
I'll tell you the games, yeah?
Yeah.
So, Spurs 2, Roma 2 at home. I went to. Spurs 1 for 1.
A little bit. Can we give a little bit of detail with it? Remember, winning 2-1, you give away the goal at the death, 90 plus minutes.
That was poor.
2-2, drop points in your opening.
Right. So Spurs 2, Roma 2. I went to that one. Spurs at home against Fulham. I didn't go to that one. Spurs against Chelsea. Didn't go to that one. Spurs Man United didn't go to that one. Spurs Liverpool didn't go to that one. Spurs Wolves didn't go to that one. Spurs Newcastle didn't go to that one.
That's what I mean.
So I haven't.
Man United one. I'm having a meltdown in the ground when Fraser Forster decides to take things on.
I was watching that in Riyadh.
Do you know what I mean? All of this, add it all up. It's mad.
Matt makes a good point. He says, interesting that Kinski, Bergvall and Gray all come from football families, all young and very grounded. It's very true. Yep. Very true indeed. Maybe they just haven't got good people around them. Listen, there is some good young talent in that team. And you know what it is? Things aren't just built overnight. And we're looking at the Spurs with Pochettino, where we peaked and got to a Champions League final with your mate, the best striker in the world, Harry Kane.
Hold
right?
on.
There he is.
Can't I think of it? Here we go. Look, I've still got the present I got you. Where's the camera? That one now?
I put him down, didn't I?
Different gravy, mate. Harry Kane. Going to get the trophy this year, and he's going to win the league.
No, he ain't. Bayer Leverkusen are coming for them. Bundesliga update is returning very soon.
Really?
Yeah.
How much?
4 now because they won.
4?
Yeah, 4 points.
God bloody hell, I don't think you'll ever see me again if you don't win the league this year.
So, like I said, it's been difficult, but you have to take into account, you know, the suspensions, the injuries, all of these have to be accounted for. Not complete excuses all the time, but we've got to go again. It is a new year.
Tomorrow.
And I'll tell you what,
the one.
Wednesday is there is no better time to play them lot.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus has got to be out. Surely.
Got a bit of info on the game match.
Come on,
if you don't mind.
let's talk.
Spurs
have you got any info on Jesus' injury?
No, I haven't, but he's out.
Do better.
Definitely out.
Do better. Is he out?
No,
but is he out?
100% out. Yeah.
There
So Spurs v Arsenal. Look, Spurs have won 2 out of their last 3 games in all comps. Arsenal have lost twice and drew once in their last 3 games in all comps. Going out the FA Cup, as we know, and they've got a real job to do at Newcastle, mate, if they're going to get to Wembley in the Carabao Cup final. They're second in the league, 6 points behind leaders Liverpool, have a game in hand with a superior goal difference. Liverpool do. Spurs are 12th place in the league and have won only once in their last 5 league games. Yeah, head to head, Spurs have beat Arsenal 67 times. Arsenal have beat Spurs 88 times. Games have been drawn 55 times. Arsenal won 1-0 at Spurs in September. Will it be the same this year? Do you know what I mean? We're talking about Arsenal, bit shot shy up front, but what won the game that day? Bullying the goalkeeper, Gabriel with a header. So, bit of team news. Spurs are without Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, Dogie, Bentancur. Richarlison looks as if he'll be back in the squad. Mikey Moore is a positive that he started against Tamworth after being out for a while. Arsenal have lost Jesus to injury, and he joins Nwaneri, Saka, White, and Calafiori on the injury list. So both teams have been hit with problems with injuries.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Again, no Saka for me, for them. That is
huge, because for me, I
important.
think whether I like to say it or
He's
not,
the best player.
one of the best players in the Premier League.
And
we're talking about wide men who can do a bit.
And him and Odegaard's link up is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Knowing I like Havertz becomes a master that night, but hopefully not. You had some transfer news as well.
Yeah, a bit of transfer news, obviously, because important month for Spurs. Obviously, we've already mentioned that we've bought in Kinski, joined from Slavia Prague, deal around 12.5 million. Son's contract extended to 2026. The man being linked with Spurs heavily at the moment is Randall Kolo Muani.
Yeah, no, that's done. He's going Juve.
Is it really? Yeah, so French attacker who plays for PSG, signed from Frankfurt in 2023, 75 million euros. It's a mental match. PSG want a permanent deal or loan with obligation to buy. Spurs are keen but want a loan with an option to buy. We spoke about Marcus Rashford. The Daily Mail reporting that one's not going to go away. That could happen this month. Court Offside are reporting that Spurs could hijack Donyell Malin's move to Aston Villa from Borussia Dortmund. He's a striker. Where's he from?
Yeah, he's from the Netherlands.
That striker, yeah. Timo Werner being linked with Frankfurt. Will they take him in this window? And Archie Gray, little outsider one, could be subject to a bid from Real Madrid, according to Spanish media outlet. Can you pronounce that? Fichajes? Fichajes. So could you imagine that one? £45 million, believed to be the amount that Real Madrid are willing to pay for him in this window.
For Archie Gray?
Yeah.
Real Madrid on Archie
I'm
Gray.
telling you, mate, it's doing the rounds.
Let me tell you something, yeah? Can we just note back to one thing that we said in this podcast years ago?
Yeah.
Oliver Skip.
What I will say is that there is absolute nonsense, that last piece that I'll give you, because that is not happening. So Fichajes, whoever's doing the media work there, do better.
Do you know what I'd say? Simon says, bet you don't go home and away like me last 25 years. Match of the day merchant, I said it. Him and Emilio have been a bit of a thing.
Yeah,
just because you go to home and away games don't mean you're the oracle of football. Like, I hate people that do that. I'd go home and away if I could, but I can't. I'm busy, right?
Let's talk about me while being on this podcast with you in that situation, because I've been very, very fortunate to go to Spurs over the last 3-4 years, especially due to you, because you're a very nice person, and when you can't make football matches, you've kindly given me your ticket with my old man that goes there. It is £90 a ticket to go and watch Tottenham. Yeah. You've got to earn a lot of money to go and watch Tottenham home and away. If you're in a privileged position in your life to be in that position where you can afford going to football, good on you, and you enjoy that. But if you're not, it is what it is. Yeah. The next best thing is to watch games on the telly and do what you can. That is 100%. It. That is it in a nutshell. It doesn't mean you're more of a fan because you can afford to go and watch football. Because the reason why you don't go to football matches could simply be a case of that. You can't afford to. Yeah. You might have a big family. You might not get paid enough in your job. So I think that's not nice.
And also, I don't like the idea of people that are arguing over, like, I'm a bigger fan than you because I've done this or haven't done that. It's just, like we said, one thing we have in common, guys, is we all love Spurs for whatever reason, yeah? And, these moments like this we see behind us.
Fortunate.
Me and Gaz have been very fortunate in our journey with Spurs.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's, we always have this dialect, we don't all agree sometimes. We can agree to disagree. In a world now that is completely separated to left and right and there's no middle ground, it is very refreshing to have to talk about, I think this, well, I think that, and then you can reach some common ground. You're never always going to agree in football. Like with Big Ange, I think there's been way too much personal attacks on him. Fat Aussie this and that. It's not needed. You can dislike him as a manager, but to be personal about the guy, I just think is completely out of order. And I can say that from a point of view of being someone who is within the media, and you go on to TalkSport and someone's insulting your personality. Like, you don't know them. You don't know.
And there's a word that we use, isn't it?
Cloth.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, what cloth are you cut from? People are cut from all different types. But I like to think that our type's all right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is to everyone, including our SOS fam and Simon's SOS fam, Emilio is, anyone that's sat there watching us tonight, anyone that's listening at home, they are part of our SOS family.
100%.
And what I really want to, whilst we have a platform, and when you have a platform, you have to be really responsible with the way that you project stuff into the world, is by being positive a little bit positive. Yeah, there's some negatives at the moment, but let's try and find some positives to move on and support the team.
I think even with Spurs at the minute, as we've touched on, it's been quite balanced, really. I think there's been positive mixed in with the negatives, and mixed in with the reality.
If we jumped on the back of a podcast with one of these games, I'd be going Ange out and probably making songs.
I would like to think we back ourselves in it. I'd like to think we've got the balance just about right.
No, I literally, and I do the same on TalkSport. I like to pride our show and I pride our podcast on not being clickbait, not being outlandish. We just want to have real conversations. And the fact of the matter is, like you've offered me some stats tonight with Ange's win percentages, which don't look very good reading. It's not very good reading at all. No. His win percentage as a Spurs manager isn't good reading whatsoever. But I'll tell you what, if he comes and delivers a couple of trophies this season, by the end of the season, he'll be like, I told you this works, stick with me.
I'll tell you what,
mate,
comes. I'll trade the Harry Kane pyjamas in.
Yeah.
For his big Ange.
And
pyjamas fully in.
Daniel said one of the best Tottenham podcasts.
Will's already got his boxers on, apparently, the big Ange.
And the thing is as well, we have to remember, me and Gaz have been Spurs fans now, and I completely get it because I think Stephen said he was 67, so he's like my dad's age. Our dads are the kind of age. And like my dad's been very sort of disillusioned with Spurs in recent times.
Do you know what, my old man? You know what? Like I watch him, and like he never comes away from it. He's never come away from it. Like he can be negative.
Yeah.
Dad, you know that can be negative. He can be one of them. But I tell you one thing: there ain't a game that he don't miss, or there ain't a game that he don't.
No, because they love it. But again,
it's in them, mate.
They've had the moment where Tony Parks saving a penalty, 1984 Anderlecht. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember in '91 Gary Mabbott hoisting it up? You know, like they've had the moments of glory.
When I was in Fortune Life with you, quick one, with Martin Chivers. So I was up in your seats, and my dad see Martin Chivers. Martin Chivers, my dad's sort of hero, my dad hero. Yeah. You know what I mean? Big goals, like for Spurs.
Same.
When he see him, he was like...
My dad was gassed when he saw Chivers, he saw Alan, a load of them. And he got a picture of Leo and them. And the thing is, our parents growing up, football was a completely different world then. You'd get in there, you'd stand, and you walk around the ground. Life was different, football was different. And I can understand why their frustration is, because it is... do you know what Simon says? Get me on the pod, Magic Gaz. I'm in Hartford, special guest episode. Simon, you are very welcome, and we will make that happen. Trust me, we'll have Simon at the HQ.
Will, you can fill in that week.
We can get that sorted. But yeah, I can understand. So when they've seen things, and Spurs always were known as a cup team, weren't they? Remember those things? Spurs are a cup side. They don't win the league, but they're a cup side. We win things. I can understand the frustration, and frustration does lead to the way people are. We've seen it with Arsenal. The reactions that they had yesterday.
Overboard.
But, as you said, it's overboard. Our reaction to a lot of things are overboard. It's not good enough right now, where we are in the league. That's not good enough, right? And if that is what the future holds with me and Spurs and Ange Postecoglou, I don't want it. That's not good enough, right? But what I'll say is, we're in 3 cup competitions. We're trying to get our team back. We've got a window now. The keeper could be the game changer. One little cog.
I think like it'd be interesting what sort of chat you'd have off the back of Wednesday.
Emilio,
it's a big game, and do you know what? I'm looking at these little coasters in front of me here, and who are you picking to be able to do a little bit for you, mate, on Wednesday? Because I'm going to go with this man, Dejan Kulusevski, because I reckon just as we needed to turn to him yesterday, because he was the difference maker when he come on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He come on the pitch, things started happening. That boy, I fancy to do a little bit on Wednesday. Let's see.
You know what people are calling for? A Same Old Spurs live podcast like we did at the...
I'd look forward to it, mate. I'd have it.
Yeah, we should have a look at that.
We should, yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll have it when we get to the final, eh?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know what? It could be the fact that we have a Carabao Cup final. Well, 90 minutes, mate. That's what it is to get through that. And maybe make.
I'm telling you, mate. Tottenham can beat Arsenal and Newcastle on a one-off. Absolutely.
All day.
If they got their better players. If I saw a lineup with Van der Ven and Romero against anyone in the Premier League, I'd think you got a chance there. Without them, it's questionable.
Simon says, Madge, if we finish bottom half and win nothing, do you sack them, Ange, in the summer? Yes. I'm giving the guy to the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it's also the way that it's the way that that certain games and the outcomes materialise, the way you play, the type of performances from individuals, his in-game management, all of them things are going to be questioned game to game now. So we'll see.
Yeah, Simon, if we win something and finish bottom half, do you sack him? That's what we're asking you back. Apparently, Kudo's a gooner.
I don't care, mate. I tell you, it makes it even better than he'll be scoring against them on Wednesday then. I tell you, he's a gooner, Sri Lanka, isn't he?
Yeah.
He wanted, yeah. So they all are, mate. Would you question why? If you've only got a couple of clubs to select from, growing up, London-based, for example, or whatever it might be, if you're a London boy, and Arsenal winning things are up there, you're going to say, well, Arsenal, aren't you? That's what it is.
Darren Bent.
You know what I mean?
Emilio says, yes, boys, winners episode down the boozer. That would be nice, wouldn't we?
That's it.
I got a pack of those coasters for Christmas. These coasters are great. Who got them for us?
These coasters are high class, mate.
Who got them for us?
Spencer Moss, top man.
Top man. Love these.
His kids as well, lovely people who listen to the podcast, have done for years.
Emilio says...
And by the way, I'd like to take this time to send a special message to all the people that listen to our podcast, all the people that message, all the people that share it. Thank you very, very much. I swear to you, the community, the same Old Spurs community, all good people. We have not got too many bad eggs, mate.
No, not at all. And again,
and you know what? That's why I love doing it. Because we don't get paid for this.
No.
We don't earn money for this.
It costs us.
It costs Madge. Well, yeah, you. It costs Madge quite a bit of money, but we enjoy doing it.
Set, don't we?
And we get, and what I get in return from him is like engaging with good people.
It's good. And like I said, we got one common thing is that we all love Spurs.
Absolutely.
Stupidly. Anyway, from Majestic Gazza and Will, who's been in control.
Well done, Will. You've done a good job.
Will stepped in like Archie Gray.
He done.
This ain't his normal position. Our Van der Ven's out.
Yeah.
Old Louis. Right, guys,
Top
thank
man.
you so much. Don't forget, follow us at Same Old Spurs Pod if you don't already. If you've just found us on YouTube, make sure we're 5 subscribers off 1,000. I forgot to say.
I know, yeah.
5 subscribers off 1,000, right? I wonder how many of you are in there who ain't subscribed already. Subscribe if you can, or if you know someone, you might even have like sons, daughters, get them to subscribe on the YouTube right now. Can we hit 1,000 by tonight? That'd be nice. Gazza got a bad cough. Wednesday's on the way. Come on, you Spurs. Let's do those Southampton mugs.
The Same Old Spurs podcast with Majestic and Gazza.